Hello and welcome back to the Beginner's Guide to Zomboid. My name is Soup, and with the amount of time I've put into this game, I think it's safe to say I've painted more than my fair share of walls. In this episode, we are going to look at some tips and tricks for firearms. Now, if you haven't had a chance to watch the previous episodes, I would recommend you do so now, as there are techniques in there that we will be using again. And before we get going, if you need to find firearms, I've included a link to the Zomboid map in the description. The first and most important hurdle we're going to have to overcome is actually leveling our firearms quickly. For this, we are going to be using a shotgun, and we are going to saw it off. As any man will tell you, it ain't about the size, but how you use it. And in Zomboid, as you can see here, this is going to reduce our range by 1 tile, but it's going to boost our accuracy up to 100%, making it super easy to land hits and level your aiming early on. In order to level up as quickly and as efficiently as possible, we are going to go somewhere a little bit more busy. I chose Muldra Police Station for a number of reasons. It's a nice popular area, there's plenty of zombies, and there's a cheeky little low fence around the back that we can kite around. Now, as everybody knows, the first rule of firearm safety is to have fun. But before we have our fun, we need to think about how we're going to get out of here. So you'll notice I park the car and I leave it running just down the road. Before we start shooting, we want to make sure we get ourselves a nice dense ball of zombies. There's a couple of reasons we do this. First of all, if we're herding them, we're in control. There's less chance of random zombies coming in from other directions. As well as that, the shotgun can hit up to 4 targets as well, so we want to be making sure we're taking full advantage of that and getting as many targets hit with every single shell. Final reason, Zomboid actually has an interesting miss mechanic where if you've got a tight enough ball of them, even when you miss the target you're shooting at, you will be hitting something, making sure you get the most efficient use of your shotgun shells and as much experience out of this as possible. You can see this here, where I turn around, only 2 light up, so rather than shooting, I redeploy and I create a better opportunity. One strategy you can use while engaging is the same as melee. You simply shoot, spin and step. This will allow us to keep our eyes on our back as well, looking out for more incoming zombies. Very useful when you're making this kind of noise. If you do feel like trying something a little more crazy, this is what I call jousting. If you pay close attention to this video, you will see that when they get close, despite me moving, they get this super green highlight, allowing for great hits on them. If you do feel yourself getting overwhelmed, you can jump over low fences to slow them down. Often, this will allow you to aim low and hit them on the floor, but sometimes it can be just enough to buy you the time you need to get a couple more shots off. Sometimes you may need to reposition quickly and interrupt the pump. If this should happen, you can press X to manually pump the weapon. And if you find yourself repositioning and not shooting, it's a good time to be reloading. And throughout the fight, always be mindful of your exit plan. I kept them balled up around the police station so that I could make a clean break to the south here, getting in my car and making sure I didn't waste those shells. Well, with tube-fed weapons, reloading is as simple as tapping R regardless of where the ammo is in our bags. With magazine-fed weapons, it works slightly differently. If we have the spare magazine unpacked in our top layer inventory, a single tap is all that's needed. However, should that magazine be in our bags packed away, the first tap of R will pull out the empty magazine, and a further tap will be required to load a new one from our bag. And when all our spare magazines are empty, a single tap will cause us to remove our empty mag from the gun and load in any spare rounds if we have them, then put it back into the gun. Now that we are leveled up, it is important to consider what gun to use. I personally always carry an M36 because it has great accuracy while only having a 30 tile noise range, making it super handy when you don't want to pull in hordes. And the final thing to consider, Zomboid has a soft cap on aiming, so if you're planning to use guns, be sure to take a profession that favours it or a trait that tags it. And that is it for this week. If you've made it that far, thank you for sticking around. If you found any hints or tips in this video useful, be sure to like and subscribe, as next week we will be covering one final and even more violent element of Zomboid combat, fire and how to use it to your advantage. So thanks for staying, and I will see you all next week. Take care now.